Joining BYU Sports Nation via the Deseret First Credit Union hotline is former BYU quarterback and current quarterbacks coach Jason Beck. Jason, how was your weekend, man?
It's kind of bittersweet, actually. Obviously a great win, but at the same time, kind of equally devastating, with Taysom's injury. So it was pretty bittersweet weekend.
Ja Beck, when did you find out that Taysom Hill had a Liz Frank injury?
Right away when they took him. When he came back in the second quarter to play, is when they said that he had the Liz Frank, and so I kind of knew at that point what that meant. And so he kind of gutted it out for a while, the rest of that second quarter and part of the third, and then, after the game, and at halftime, they knew it was pretty much done for the year.
How does he keep playing on the field after a Liz Frank injury?
I couldn't tell you except for just probably just the juice going from the game. You're just fired up playing, and so your body hasn't quite, let you know how bad it is yet. And, it was pretty amazing some of the stuff he was able to do on, with that injury happening. And then it just got to a certain point where the medical people told him no more. He was still trying to get in there. And so we went through that 2 or 3 times. They kept telling him no more, and he kept running on the field. And then finally they just, I don't know, took his helmet away or whatever, took him in the locker room, and that was it.
Wow. Jason Beck, BYU quarterbacks coach, with us on BYU Sports Nation. What was going on in your mind when you knew, okay, at some point Taysom's going to come out and Tanner's going to go in?
I mean, really, you're just switch right over into the mode of, okay, what does Tanner do best? What do I need to cover with him, to get him ready, and then just try to get him, hey, just to keep it simple, be decisive with his reads and make quick decisions. You don't really have too much time to think about any big picture stuff. Just, this next play, next series, what do we need to do? And so, and we have a lot of confidence in Tanner. He's played well in camp, and he's been working hard, and you're always one play away from being in there. So he prepared for that situation.
And now Bo Hodge is in that situation going into this game. And inside BYU football, the first scene of that from last night was you in fall camp drawing 84. How much did you guys practice it, and did you ever complete it in practice?
Well, so we put it in the week of the Nebraska game. We put it in that week.
Good thing.
We kind of cover all our those crazy situations. Your victory, your 4-minute, your Hail Mary, just any of those possible situations that could come up. So we put it in. I think we ran it one time. We tell the scouts not to make a play on the ball because we don't want guys jumping up and landing on ankles and, twisting ankles or anything. So we complete it, we're throwing it pretty much on air when we did it. But yeah, that's, when it gets to that point, the play is what it is. You're just buying time, rolling out, throwing it up, and hoping somebody comes down with it.
Is the play intended for Mitch Matthews at the front of the end zone?
It is intended for our 2 guys on the right to get down there, and then for Mitch to be coming across the front because he's coming from greater distance. And then, whether it becomes a rebound situation, throw those back to, or like it was where the pass was kind of short and it was just in position there. So, but we're just running the 2 guys down there to jump up, and Mitch is coming across in front, trailing it, and you hope for the best.
So that pass is completed. And also on Inside BYU Football last night, we see a celebration shot of you and the other coaches up there. I don't know if you've seen that, but Jason, how do you feel about your reaction performance in that moment?
It's interesting because with me, I'm in the box and we're still kind of essentially working. And so to me, we call the play, you're watching it, you're, excited, but at the same time, I'm expecting good things to happen. And so we hit it, so I kind of celebrate, but I'm not just went from, being deflated to all of a sudden we're victorious, because I was never in that position of thinking the game's over. Because that whole time you're just working the game management to get this thing won on this last drive. And so I think it's, in a way, other fans may have a bigger reaction because, they may be hanging their head thinking, we're losing this thing. But, we're just in the moment working the game situation. And so you haven't had all those thoughts go through your mind or all those emotions, So I kind of, went pretty wild and then celebrated it. But then at the same time, I was kind of ready to move on to if they're going to make us kick the extra point or not,
I saw that. Yeah. And
this is why you're good at your job.
You're so level-headed. You know who wasn't right next to you? Kelly Papinga.
No, yeah.
He was going crazy.
Kelly, Famika, those dudes were losing their
Shane
minds.
Hunter.
Those guys were losing their minds, but yeah, I was just kind of in it until it's over. Just in it till it's over, and then go from there. So.
Okay, Tanner Mangum's the starting quarterback this week. How much do you have to adjust the playbook, if at all, for him?
We have to adjust it. Have to simplify it. Obviously, play to his strengths more. So we'll do less, of the the zone read type stuff, and he's not going to be running down the sideline for big plays that way. So we'll adjust it. We'll tweak it. Fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it, we went through that similar deal last year when we went to Stu when Taysom got hurt. So we've kind of been down that path. We know what to do. And really, it's just with any quarterback you got in there, you just want to play to their strengths. So you take the playbook and you adapt it to what they do best to put them in the best situation to be successful with the 10 guys around them. And so that's what we'll do to give ourselves the best chance on Saturday.
When you look at Boise State defensively, what kind of challenges will they present to you?
One, they got a lot of experienced players back, and then two, they do a lot of things on defense. They don't just line up and play. They just do a lot more different things in the front and with the coverage. They do a lot of drop 8, so the windows are tighter on that. And so you just got to be ready for the drop 8. You got to be ready for the zone blitz. And they'll give you pretty much every coverage, you think of 2, 3, 4. They'll mix it. They'll zero blitz you, so you just got to be ready for all those things. So they do a good job with their schemes. And like I said, they have a lot of guys that have played and have experience, so they they're confident and they play hard, and so we know we'll get their best effort.
In the first segment of the show, we were talking about the history of freshman quarterbacks playing at BYU, and for fans, to give Tanner Mangum a learning curve. How much, as a coaching staff, do you give a learning curve to him as you try and get him up to speed as quickly as possible?
Well, we're not naive with what we can put on him. We got to be smart with what we ask him to do and to be successful. We're confident in Tanner, but at the same time, something's going to happen in the course of a game, and that's any game. There's going to be a mistake. There's going to be, a blown assignment or whatever it may be, and so it's just a matter of, moving on to the next play. Forget about anything negative that happens. Move on to the next play and go from there. And so, and that, same thing when Tanner got in there in the game. He made some mistakes, but at the same time, he made some great things happen. And so that's just kind of the way it goes. And the more he plays, the more you look to, have less of those mistakes and more of the positives. So, but again, he's been working his tail off since he got back from his mission, and he's excited to play, and we're confident in him.
Jason, great to talk to you as always. Fantastic insight, and you tell Kelly to just keep calm, okay?
I think they're over there on defense. It's out of their control. So they're at that point, they're just, it's just the pure adrenaline of it all. But since so maybe if the shoe was on the other foot, and it was all in the defense's hand, like maybe Cal,
Okay.
They had the deal to stop it. I was probably a little more excited then because, at that point, it's out of your control and you're just watching it like everybody else. So
Kelly knows no other speed. It's all good.
That's true. He's that way, first quarter on, a 5-yard play they give up, he'll be yelling and screaming. So he's a maniac up there.
Fair stuff.
So.
Jason, good luck against Boise State.
All right. Thanks, guys.